Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, if you think you know Rakuten, you probably only know a tiny piece of the puzzle.
That's for sure. I mean, this isn't just an e-commerce company we're talking about, not by a long shot.
No, it's this sprawling conglomerate. We're covering digital shopping, sure, but also banking, credit cards, travel, and the really big one, their colossal bet on a mobile network.
It really is a sprawl. So our mission today is to unpack the engine that drives at all this unique Rakuten ecosystem.
Right. How did they build this interconnected empire, and what are the financial implications of that massive bet on mobile?
And maybe just as interesting, why did their attempt to take that same model global run into so many problems?
Okay, let's start at the beginning. Rakuten was founded back in 1997. They launched Rakuten Ichiba. Now, most people think of Amazon, which is a classic B2C model.
Right, they buy stuff, put it in a warehouse, and sell it to you.
Exactly. But Rakuten chose a completely different path, this B2B2C marketplace. What made that so powerful right out of the gate?
Well, the key was speed and scale. By being a digital landlord instead of a retailer, they didn't have to take on any inventory risk.
So they just provided the platform.
Exactly. The individual merchants handled their own storefronts, and that meant they could get a huge variety of goods on the site almost overnight.
And their ambition was, let's say, not small. I remember reading about this goal they set around 2001, the Rakuten 01 trillion project.
Yeah, aiming for yen 1 trillion in gross transaction value back then was astronomical. It really set the tone.
It also meant just growing the marketplace wasn't going to be enough.
No way. That aggressive goal forced them to pivot to synergy through acquisition and fast. Look at 2003. They buy mytrip.net.
Which became Rakuten Travel.
And almost immediately gave them a 70% share of online travel booking in Japan. Just a monumental move.
But they didn't stop at travel. The same year, 2003, they dive into finance by acquiring DLJ Direct SFG Securities. That feels like a strange combination.
It does on the surface. But that's where you see the ecosystem strategy being born. The leadership understood they weren't just selling products.
They were selling membership.
Precisely. Travel and finance are both high-value activities. By owning both, they could acquire customers and, crucially, keep them coming back across the whole group.
So if those early acquisitions were the bricks, what was the glue holding e-commerce, travel, and finance together?
The glue is the unified membership ID and the loyalty system. Rakuten Super Points, the SPU, it's genius, really.
Explain how that works.
Well, you earn points buying something on the marketplace, you can spend them booking a vacation, and then you earn even more points by using their credit card or bank account.
So they're creating lock-in.
They're making it financially irrational for you to leave the ecosystem. That's what they call group synergy maximization.
And once that domestic flywheel was spinning, they tried to take it global. They went on a huge M&A spree.
Oh, yeah. They bought Y.com in the U.S., Price Minister in France, and then they made a big push into digital content.
That was with Kobo, the ebook company.
Kobo in 2012, yes. But the biggest global play was probably Viber in 2014, a messaging app that instantly gave them 300 million users worldwide.
That feels like a move to build a whole new pillar of the business.
It was a massive global network that they could, potentially monetize down the line.
Let's talk about the payoff from that early finance bet, because the internet finance segment is now an absolute behemoth.
It's the cash engine. It drives predictable, high-margin revenue. By 2013, it was already over a third of their total revenue.
What do the latest numbers say? I mean, look at Rakuten Card.
The numbers are huge. As of the third quarter of 2023, they're reporting something like 2,954 million cards issued.
And the transaction volume is 20.6 trillion. But they're not stopping there, are they? They have this 333 goal.
Right, and you really need to understand this to see their ambition.
So what does 333 mean?
It's their goal to just completely dominate domestic payments. They're aiming for 30 million cards, 30 trillion yen in transaction volume, and a 30% domestic market share.
30% share. If they hit that, they're not just a major player anymore.
No, that's moving into oligopoly territory.
And the power is in the cross-use, right?
Right.
It's not just about having one of their products.
Precisely. This system is designed to shepherd you from one service to the next. I saw one stat from 2021 where the number of users with a car, a bank account, and a securities account jumped almost 90% in 1 year.
90%, wow.
Yeah. The health of the ecosystem is measured by how fast they can move you from one service to three.
Okay, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. the mobile segment. This is the source of all the debt, all the market anxiety.
But also their biggest long-term opportunity, the scale of the investment to build their own mobile network and MNO is just colossal.
And you can see it in the financials, can't you? These huge jumps in fixed assets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we saw spikes like 91.3 billion added in a single quarter back in 2020. They were building an entirely new utility from scratch.
And here's the crazy part. Despite the financial pain, they actually did it. They hit 96% 4G population coverage incredibly fast.
They did it roughly 4 years ahead of their original plan. It's a testament to their tech, their Open RAN architecture.
But speed costs money. And the losses were.
Staggering. The market was shocked by numbers like the 118.6 billion operating loss for the mobile segment in just Q4 of 2021.
So here's the core question for you listening. Why? Why sustain these massive losses? What is the ultimate payoff?
It all comes down to one three-letter acronym, CT, customer acquisition cost.
Okay, break that down.
It costs a ton of money in advertising to get a new credit card customer. But if you can get them to sign up for a cheap mobile plan instead...
You've acquired them into the ecosystem for less money.
Exactly. The mobile service becomes the world's most effective and cheapest advertisement for their real moneymakers.
And the numbers back this up, right?
Dramatically.
Okay.
The data shows that after someone signs up for their mobile service, their annual spending on the e-commerce site jumps by 49%.
Almost 50% more valuable to the core business just from switching their phone plan.
Yes! Think about that. The mobile network isn't really a telecom business. It's a high-powered loyalty enrollment funnel.
That level of spending required some serious financial acrobatics to manage the debt. How did they stay afloat?
They've been using every tool in the book. Large-scale equity financing, the IPO of Rakuten Bank, selling a stake in Rakuten Securities, but also some very non-conventional debt management.
You mean things like the foreign currency, perpetual subordinated bonds? That sounds complicated.
It is, but it's basically patient capital. It allows them to raise huge amounts of cash now to finish the mobile build-out and push the repayment obligation far into the future. It buys them runway.
And what's the benchmark we should be watching? When does this bet start to pay off?
The target is crystal clear. They need to hit monthly EBITDA black ink in the mobile segment by December 2024 and be profitable on that basis for the full year in 2025.
That's the inflection point.
That's when the cash burn stops and mobile starts to purely accelerate the ecosystem.
They also use their own metric, membership value, to measure success. Why not just use standard profit?
Because standard profit doesn't capture the synergy. Membership value is this formula: active users times cross-use times lifetime value minus customer acquisition cost.
So it's a measure of the long-term health of the customer base.
Exactly. By focusing on that number, which they valued at $9.6 trillion, they're telling the market to look beyond quarterly profits.
Let's switch gears to their global operations. The model worked so well in Japan, but they really struggled to export it.
They learned some incredibly hard lessons, especially in the US and Europe.
Why did the marketplace model that dominated Japan just fail to launch there?
A few reasons. I mean, first, you had entrenched giants like Amazon with hyper-efficient fulfillment networks. But it's also that the B2B2C model is complex. Managing thousands of individual merchants is tough to transplant into a new market.
Which led to a pretty major strategic retreat.
A total pivot. In the US, they shut down the Buy.com marketplace and focused on Rakuten Rewards, a simple cashback site.
And the same thing happened in Europe.
Same pattern. They closed the marketplaces in Germany, Spain, and the UK. They found that the full ecosystem couldn't be transplanted, but the loyalty and rewards element, that could survive.
But they do still have a global technical footprint, don't they, with Rakuten Symphony?
Yes, and this is a massive differentiator. Symphony sells the Open RAN technology that let them build their own network so fast and cheap in Japan.
So they're selling the tech that powered their own disruption.
To other carriers around the world. They have customers in the Americas, Europe, Asia. It positions them as a global technology leader, even where their consumer businesses struggled.
So to wrap it all up, the core tension remains. It's this phenomenal, cash-rich fintech and e-commerce machine.
Versus the high-stakes, capital-intensive gamble on mobile.
And that entire mobile network is just a strategic lever, isn't it? It's there to minimize CAC and maximize LTV across the whole machine.
That's the whole story. Their success hinges on converting every mobile user into a profitable cardholder, banker, and shopper.
Which makes you realize their biggest competition isn't Amazon or another telecom company. It's their own internal challenge of making sure that flywheel spins ever faster.
And it leaves you with a really provocative thought. If a company like Rakuten can absorb the massive cost of integrating a core utility, like mobile service, directly into its loyalty program,
To basically guarantee customer acquisition and loyalty.
what other traditional industries could do the same? Could an insurance company start offering smart home security? Could a utility offer something else? It fundamentally changes how we think about the cost of keeping a customer.